Kita tunggu pembicaranya dulu masuk ya, baru nanti kita mulai. Sudah saya telepon ini. Oke. Sepertinya sudah bergabung semua, Pak Nan. Mungkin sudah siap. Halo, Pak Nana. Oke.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello, good morning.
Dita, and everyone here.
Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
We will begin this event, ma'am.
Noted.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Respectable, the head of Mathematics Education Department, Melania Ivaulandias, MPD. The Honorable Secretary of Mathematics Education Department, Ari Purwanto, SPD, MSc. Respectable, the speaker of this agenda, Mr. Rafi Ramos Mil. The Honorable, the moderator of this agenda, Nana Hozaini, SPD, MPD. And the Honorable ladies and gentlemen, participants from Indonesia and Philippines of this event. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Let's thank to the Almighty God who has given us some mercy and blessing so that we can attend this agenda without any troubles and obstacles. Ladies and gentlemen, this event is proudly designed by Mathematics Education Department, Mercu Buana University of Jakarta, Indonesia. On behalf of the organizer, we would like to extend a warm welcome and express our gratitude for participating in the International Guest Lecture event, which held on today, Tuesday, June 30, 2022. Today's event has the theme Education Curriculum in the Philippines.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we bring expert in their fields of this event is Mr. Rafi Ramos from University of Southern Mindanao, Philippines. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay, how are you today?
I'm very fine and I'm very thankful for this invitation. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome, ma'am. Okay, all precious participants, I am Nafida Heti Marhaini, acting as the master of the ceremony of this agenda today. Again, welcome to this agenda. We would like to thank everyone that taking time to attend our agenda today. And to begin with, allow me to read today's agenda. First is opening. Second, the welcoming speech from the head of Mathematics Education Department or representing. Third is the main event is International Guest Lecture with speaker from University of Southern Mindanao, Philippines. And fourth are the certificate presentation and will be followed by photo session. And the last is closing. The honorable ladies and gentlemen, let's open the agenda in this morning by praying according to our respective religions and belief. Prayer begins. Done. Okay, hopefully with this opening prayer, the event can run well. And we hope you can enjoy this event and gain useful knowledge. Amen. The second event is welcoming speech, which will be represented by the Secretary of Mathematics Education Department, Mr. Ari Purwanto, SPD, MSc. Are you here, Mr. Ari?
Hello.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so Mr. Ari, time is yours.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
First of all, I would like to express my gratitude for presence and of the grace of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because only of His abundance of grace and His guidance, so we can gather in here in a good condition. Second, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ari Purwanto, as Secretary of Mathematics Education Study Program, University of Mercu Buana, Yogyakarta. And the third, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to our speaker, Sarah Vega Ramos, from the University of Southern Mindanao, Philippines. Nice to meet you, Sarah.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, sir.
Maybe this is the first time our study program holding even an international request lecture. Okay, this is very interesting activity because we are faced into different countries, different language and different culture maybe, and I really hope that a similar program can be realized in the future. The third and the last, our study program is with open to collaborate in research, community service, and of course, education. And I hope fully this event will be opening for the other collaborative activities in the future. Maybe that's all for me. Nafida, thank you so much. And I apologize if there are a grammatical error. I'm here be declare that the international guest lecture with the theme education curriculum in the Philippines during the new normal is open. Okay, thank you, Nafida.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ari, for welcoming speech, the speaker, and all participants in this morning. The next event is our core event, which is an international guest lecture with the theme Education Curriculum in the Philippines during the new normal. In this section, we'll be guided by a moderator. Okay. The moderator of this event is Mr. Nana Huzaini, SPD SE MPD. He is a lecturer in Mathematics Education Department, Mercu Buana University of Yogyakarta, Indonesia, who teaches the subject analysis of the high school mathematics curriculum. So the theme of this event is very relevant to the subject that he teaches. Okay, hello, Mr. Nana. Are you ready?
Hello, Miss Nana.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Ready.
Okay, baiklah. All right. To Mr. Nanang, time is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Miss Sarah.
Good morning.
Miss. Okay. Welcome to the international guest lecture. There are mathematics education lecture and honorable all participants of international guest lecture. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Nanang Huzaini, the moderator of today's agenda. I am very happy to see you here and welcome all of you to this agenda. Today's agenda is international guest lecture about education curriculum in the Philippines during the new normal. Before we begin, I would like to introduce you to speakers. Our speaker today is Miss Sarah Vega Ramos from University of Southern Mindanao, Philippines. She is 30 years old. Now, she already finished her postgraduate in education administration major in higher education at Ateneo de Davao University. Okay. Before the presentation start, let me tell you how the presentation will go. First, Miss Sarah will be invited to present the material. After that, there will be a question and answer session followed by a conclusion. Without further ado, I will like to welcome our speaker, Miss Sarah Vega Ramos, to make his presentation. Ready, Mr. Sarah?
Ready po. Thank you so much, Sir Nanang Huzaini.
Yes, Nanang Huzaini. I am Nanang Huzaini. Please expand the material, Mr. Sarah. Time is yours.
Okay. For the meantime, I really don't know. I tried to have this before, but I really don't know why it happened. Like, it's different compared to before I had this PowerPoint presentation. Mom Nafida, is it okay if you will present it to me? It's a PowerPoint presentation that I have sent to you last day.
Okay.
Or the other day. Please, okay. I'm really sorry.
Okay, the operator maybe can help.
Nafida mungkin di ini ya, di add sebagai admin juga mungkin bisa ya.
Sudah.
Please stand by.
Yeah, because the operator will be share screen.
The
okay, ma'am. Please wait. Operator is Ardika.
Ardika Falahuddin.
Yes.
A student in mathematics education, Miss Sarah.
Sorry?
The operator is our student, ma'am. Okay, please wait. Okay. Done, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
To Ma'am Melanie Eva Wunaling Tias, the head of Mathematics Education Department, to Ma'am Nafida H. Marhini, our host, to Sir Kanang or Nanang Kazaini, or Nana Kazaini, and to Sir Ari Purwanto. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very much happy that Ma'am Nafida invited me to be one of the guest speakers for this international event of yours. So perhaps you all know what's all about education curriculum in the Philippines, a bit of it. But of course, we have different curriculums in different countries. And me even is not really aware of your curriculum. So this is really a glimpse of insight that we have differences. However, despite of our differences, we may be able to collaborate in order for us to have oneness. So thank you again for this opportunity. I am Miss Sarah V. Ramos Miel. Next slide, please. Okay. For the history of postponements, as what you've observed in my presentation, we have different curriculums that we have in Department of Education. So before World War II, we have grade 1 to 7, high school first or like first year to fourth year, then college. Then when we implemented the transition during Commonwealth during 1945 to 2015, so we have grades 1 to 6, then high schools 1 to 4, and of course college. And then this time we are having this full K to 12 implementation. So we have the kindergarten, the grade 1 to 6, junior high school. Sorry for that. Junior high school, senior high school, and college. Okay, so here as what you've observed, kindly go back, ma'am. Okay, so here the kindergarten, we have only 1 year of it. And then during the first grade to 6th grade, so we have this kind of curriculum, and then we already have the implementation of junior high school and senior high school. Why? It's because before we have a different curriculum compared to the other countries. So that's what our government in the Philippines have seen as what to this curriculum that we implemented here in the Philippines. So in order for us to anchor our curriculum to the other countries, therefore, we accumulated 2 more years so that we can have the senior high school. And after that, they or the students can now have their college or whatever course that they have as associated or linked to their senior high schools. Next slide, po. Okay, so here, So we have 4-year. So this is in the basic education. So let me tell you again that I am not in the basic education or in the Department of Education, because I am affiliated in the commission in the higher education institution in the Philippines, which is the University of Southern Mindanao. So it is a tertiary or college institution. Okay, next. Okay. So here is our curriculum. In senior high school, we have the 8 learning areas, just like language, mathematics, science, communication, philosophy, humanities, social science, PE, and health. Okay. Then we have also the senior high school track. So before they go to college or enroll to college, they need to choose among these tracks, depending of what are their interests. So first, we can have the academic. Second, we have technical, vocational, livelihood. Third, sports. And fourth, art and design. So the academic track includes 4 strands. So we have accountancy. If you want to become an accountant in the future, we have also the business and management. And we can also have the education. So if you want to enroll in education, be sure that you have attained or pursued academic requirements in your senior high school. So that's in the Philippines. Then technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM stand, and general academic strands. So we have here the different strands that we have. So in technical, vocational, and of course, but of course in academic, it also includes the engineering or whatever the mathematics related, just like the business ad, something like that. Okay, you may enroll given that you have graduated in academic senior high school. Next, we have the technical vocational livelihood track, which includes 4 strands, just like agri, fishery, home economics, information and communication technology, or ICT, and industrial arts. So here in technical vocational livelihood, you may able to get the NC2 whenever that you are already graduate or you graduated in this field. Okay, so therefore you can look for a job that is related to the course or the program that you have graduated. Okay, so that's really the advantage of technical vocational livelihood. So that's why our government or our former president, who is Benigno Aquino III, approved the RA 10533, which is on the K-12. So here in the K-12, we have the junior high school, which be only given a certificate right after they accomplish the 2 years or the 2-year course, and then or programs rather. And then for the senior high school, they will be graduated with diploma. Okay, so that's our new curriculum that we have in the Philippines. Actually, it's really hard. It's really hard to attain all of this, another accumulated years for us, because honestly, we're not really prepared, especially during that time, like way back 2016, where we had the full implementation of the senior high school. Like, it's really hard because we don't have a lot of facilities. Okay, classrooms, and then perhaps others may be against on it because of they want to make fast track during the years of having studying in grade schools. But then of course, given that there is really a need to us to adopt this, therefore we're really determined to have this senior high school despite all odds, because again, it was already been approved and implemented by our government. Okay, another slide. like English for academic and professional purposes, the practical research 1, practical research 2, Filipino sa piling larangan. So it's about the Filipino subject of what the areas you want to pursue or attain. Just what I mentioned a while ago, the academic, sports, arts, and technical vocational program. Next, we have the empowerment technology for the strands. Then we have also the entrepreneurship, then inquiries, investigatories, and immersion. So these are all the applied tracks that they need to attain whenever that they want to accomplish their senior high school. So again, we have research. We're really more on research in our institutions. It's like in the University of Southern Mindanao or even in the other institutions, although it's very hard because there are only few researchers who conducted a study and who published researches. Okay, it's really hard actually. We've done our parts, and only few of us just published our papers internationally or in local. It's really hard. So, and I'm very happy that in your institution you have your own accredited journal. Next. So we have also here the TVET, technology or technical vocational education and training national certificates. So after finishing grade 10, a student can obtain certificate of competency or a national certificate level 1. Okay, so after a technical vocational livelihood track in grade 12, a student may obtain a national certificate level 2. Okay, once graduated, they can work agriculture, okay, on agriculture, electronics, and trade. So these are all the beneficials or the beneficiaries whenever that you graduated in senior high school, especially in technical vocational livelihood. Okay, next po. So for the grades 1 to 10, so we have here the subjects, it's like mother tongue, Filipino, English, mathematics, science, araling panlipunan. So it's about the studies in our nation, edukasyon sa pagkatao. So it's about we study about how people may revolve in this world. Then next we have music, arts, physical education, health, edukasyon, pantahanan, at pangkabuhayan. It's about business or it's about practicality being a Filipino. Then we have also the technology and livelihood education or TLE. So these are all the subjects required to pursue in our Department of Education. Okay, next we have the grades 11 to 12, which is the senior high school. So we have the core curriculum subjects, just like the 7 areas under the core curriculum: the languages, literature, communication, mathematics, philosophy, natural sciences, and social sciences. So again, these are all the areas or the curriculum that we need to attain whenever that we want to enroll in senior high school. Okay, as what you've observed, we have here the specific subjects. Among all those subjects mentioned, the core subjects mentioned a while ago, we have the oral communication, reading and writing, komunikasyon at pananaliksik sa wika at kulturang Filipino. It's about communication and how we deal with our language and culture here in the Philippines. Then 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world, contemporary Philippine arts from the regions, media and information literacy, general mathematics, statistics and probability, earth and life science, physical science, introduction to philosophy of the human person, or pambungad sa filosofiya ng tao, physical education and health, personal development or pansariling kaunlaran, earth science instead of earth and life science for those in the STEM strand, then disaster readiness and risk reduction taken instead of physical science for those in the STEM strand. So these are all the subjects that we have, the specific subjects that we have in senior high school. So I highlighted here the general mathematics and statistics and probability for your perusal, since Ma'am Navida asked me about the mathematics curriculum. So I just only have a brief discussion about it, since my subject really, or my specialization is not really on math, but on language or English. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we have here the example, like K to 12 curriculum guide mathematics. Next slide, ma'am. So we have the critical and problem solving. So this is how they emphasize the curriculum in mathematics. So we have here the content, just like the numbers, measurements, geography, pattern and algebra, mathematics and probability. Then we have also in skills and processes, like knowing, understanding, computing, solving, visualizing and modeling, representing and communicating, conjecturing, reasoning, proving, and decision-making, and applying, and connecting. Then we have also here the accuracy, creativity, objectivity, deliverance, and I cannot see the other one, perhaps. Okay, so next we have here the manipulative objects under the mathematical tools, then measuring devices, calculators, and computers, smartphones, and the like. Then here we have the context, we have the beliefs, environment, language, culture, learners, prior knowledge, experiences. So whenever that we have our topic about all these things, we need to consider that we have a lot of activities, or even a lot of motivation for our students to learn more and be enthusiasts on the subject mathematics. Okay, because not everyone is gifted. Not everyone is logical. Not everyone is gifted when it comes to math, right? And I agree with that, because me too, myself, is not really good in math. Okay, so can we have another slide now? We have here the K to 12 basic education curriculum for the alternative learning system, or the ALS K to 12. So here, if we'll say alternative learning system, it is for those who cannot attain the K to 12 because of poverty. Okay, because they don't have a money to enroll in any education, or let's say they lost their educational attainments before, or like they're already old to come up with this kind of education. That's why they just enroll in the ALS K to 12. Okay, next slide. So here, basically in the ALS K to 12, so it's about the critical thinking and problem solving. We have the scientific literacy skills and numeracy skills. So if you'll say scientific literacy skills, so we have here the openness to change, awareness of options, ability to make critical and informed decisions, curiosity, and innovativeness. And we have also here under numeracy, we have the future orientation, logical reasoning, spatial intelligence, and scientific thinking. So, and of course, the goal of this critical thinking and problem solving is for the personal and social effectiveness among the ALS students. So these are
There
all
is
the
question. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Mana ngomong di grup?
Mana Vida, ada apa?
I'm sorry, ma'am. You can continue this presentation.
Okay, thank you so much.
sorry,
Okay,
I'm
can we
sorry.
have another slide? Next slide, please. Okay. So Sarah, to focus on welfare of DepEd, or Department of Education Teaching and Non-Teaching Personnel. So we have here our newly incoming Education Secretary, which is Sara Duterte. So Sara Duterte is our Vice President of the Philippines, who is also the daughter of our former, actually, just recent, no, he just recently sit as a president, just like for I guess for for 3 years now. Like, but then nowadays, just now, so we have the inaugural for the presidency of our newly elect Marcos. But then the father of Sara Duterte, is the former president of the Philippines, which is Rodrigo R. Duterte. Okay, so she is again the Secretary of Education. So Duterte earlier said she would look into 3 issues as education chiefs. So first, we have the effects of the pandemic on learners. Then second, the full implementation of face-to-face classes. Then the thorough discussion on the K-12 program. So as what you've observed, that these are the 3 issues that we need to attain nowadays. Why? It's because it's really hard for us during the pandemic time that we have this kind of setting when it comes to education. Imagine we have the limited face-to-face and not a full or a fully face-to-face program that we have in our institution because of the pandemic. So we need to have a proper distance. However, there is a lacking when it comes to our educational settings or facilities. Just like our classrooms, we have limited classrooms, as well as limited gadgets that we have. Okay, later on I'll be talking about it because I also studied about that and published that kind of problems that we have in our local. Then we have also the full implementation of face-to-face classes. So according to Duterte, that we are going to start our full implementation of face-to-face this year. So by the year 2022 to 2023. So that's the first year that we are going to start right after the pandemic. Okay. However, we can only have this whenever that we can, or there's only a level 1 and level 2 when it comes to COVID rate poll, okay, or a COVID-19 poll, okay, then we'll go back to home-based learning whenever that we'll reach the level 3 again. Okay, and as far as I know that as far as I know, the face-to-face classes is somehow hard to achieve because the pandemic is still in the Philippines. Like we need to adhere to the protocol, and we have a limited classroom, something like that, to implement such, because we still have the proper distance, and even we need to adhere the protocol that we have in the Philippines. Next, we have the thorough discussion and the K-12 program. Okay, K-12, because many opposed on this K-12. Why? Because according to them, that K-12 is we're just only accumulating another years for our young ones to study. That's all. And according to them, that we cannot have it like it's really hard, still hard for us to have this K-12 program. But of course, according to Senator Angara in the Philippines, that here in the Philippines, we can still have this K-12. However, there's really a need to help the education in the Philippines, just like the higher rate of our teachers, faculty, then even the implementation of accumulating facilities, classrooms in different institutions in the Philippines. So here we have 32,787 or 72.66% of all public schools nationwide are already participating or have actually started their face-to-face classes, compared to only 8.6% or 1,063 private schools nationwide. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so Sara Duterte, I returned to classroom by August. So August this year. So August this year, so again, it's because of that's really the implementation of our Secretary of Education. So since Sarah has the privilege to give us as the protocol as to what we need to do, and even the implementation as to what should be the education of the Philippines should have. So yes, on August this year, we are going to adopt this fully implementation of face-to-face. So here we have the 2022 curriculum focuses on big ideas and articulation of the 21st century skills framework. So as what you've observed, actually as what I've observed in the Philippine setting, that somehow we also adhere the traditional view of learning, which is the which is the face like the teacher centered, no, somehow at some point. But then this time in the 21st century skills, we adhere the language, especially like the language use of our students, and even the things that we need to consider to adhere the 21st century skills is like using innovations like computers, phones, and the like. No, actually, it's really hard for us because there are only few of us like teachers, or perhaps especially in the public institutions, that we really need to adhere of what's all these online applications. Okay, next we have here the redefine the interplay among languages in the Philippines, okay, and emphasizes the development, mastery of the foundational skills and competencies among others. So in our country, so we have here the language that we have is, we have the mother tongue, which is used in the kinder to grade 3, okay. Then the rest, we can have different, or the language that we are usually using, just like English or Filipino. But then from grade or kinder to grade 3, they need to adhere the mother tongue or the language, the native language that they have in their local. Next. So supplemental guidelines to CHED DOH Joint Memorandum Circular, so number 2021-004, limited face-to-face classes of HEIs, alert level 1. So this is now happening today. So we have the SUCs, stands for State Universities and colleges. Then we have also LUCs, the local universities and colleges, then the private institutions. So we have the limited face-to-face again in our country because we still have the a lot of positive in a COVID-19 poll. So here again, it's really hard because in our institution, we have the let's say we divided or categorized the limited face-to-face classes. So it's not every day that students will gonna go in our school, but then they are just only given to go to our institution whenever that they are, or it's announced that they need to go to our institutions, or there is an implementation from our institution. Okay, just like for this week, it will be for the first year, and then for the next week, it will be for the second year. Okay, that's just an example. But then now in our institutions, we have the first week and the second week for first year students only, and then for the third week to fourth week for the second year. So something like that. So we need to have that kind of situation because again, it's really hard for us to attain this fully implementation of face-to-face because of the limited facilities, especially in the area of public institutions. Okay, next. So here, students, personnel, or teaching personnel, non-teaching personnel, they must be vaccinated. So that's one of their requirements. So they need to have also their, if given a chance to have their field health, okay, their field health, they need to have it, okay, as well as they should be vaccinated. Otherwise, they are not given a chance to enroll in any institutions. So again, vaccination is very important to us. So it's not just for the students, but also for us personnel. Okay, next we have here the flexible learning. So as what you have observed, we have the 3 types of the flexible learning, which is the online, offline, and offline. So in online learning, we are using the group chat, okay, or the VLE, virtual learning environment. Then we have also the offline. So in offline, we have the modular or the face-to-face. Okay, however, these two are very vague to implement or to fully implement the online and offline. Why? Because in online, there are, or especially in the public institutions, there are limited gadgets. Actually, there most or majority of them are just using cell phones. Okay, cell phones in the public institutions. It's really hard. And others, they are just borrowing cell phones to their neighborhoods. It's really hard. And then there are also instances when whenever that they have their online, they cannot have it because they're living in a far-flung area where there is no internet connectivity. It's really hard. So there are a lot of instances for us not to have this online, a fully implementation of online, because we need also to adhere the level of or we need even to adhere the needs of our students. It's not just for our sake that we can teach, but also we need to look forward for their welfare. Okay. Next, we have offline. So in offline, so since COVID, or let's say pandemic, is still existing in our country, so we cannot have this offline or the face-to-face implementation since because COVID is still existing. And apart from this offline, we have the modular. Okay, in modular, we have like teachers are making a module, then students will just answer. But then in our part, we are adhering this online and offline. Why? Because here in online, we may able to communicate with our students. Okay, at the same time, you may able to give them their modular, which is the offline way of giving information or giving reference to them. Okay, so basically it's about the blended or the online and offline learning that they're adhering nowadays. So here in online, so we're just chatting through the group chat or in VLE. Then whenever that they need to submit their papers, they can have the VLE or the virtual learning environment, or let's say in Google chat, in Google, in group chat. So teachers are just making a folder, okay, a folder, a Google folder, I guess, yeah, a Google folder. Then they will just submit their papers in that folder, okay? But in other institutions, there are also a lot of different approaches or different online systems that they are using, especially in especially in the standards institutions in the Philippines, just like in the Ateneo de Davao University, or even in the La Salle University, or even as well in the University of the Philippines, the 3 big schools in the Philippines. So again, we're having this implementation of online and offline learning. Next. So during the implementation of the face-to-face, so we have here the physical distancing that we need to adhere or abide to that protocol. Then hand hygiene and sanitation facilities, visual cues, reminders and guides, wearing of face mask, retrofitting and disinfection of facilities, classroom and laboratories, student dormitories, medical insurance coverage for students. So these are all the things that we need to consider whenever that we need to go to the to our institution. Okay, so just this is really visible nowadays. No, it's really hard. It's really hard, like, to control, and even whenever that the students are already flocked in our offices, it's really hard, like, to control them. But then, given that we need to adhere to the protocol, therefore there is really a need for us to adjust. Next. So 313 universities and colleges, like in alert level 1. So no vax, no entry, which 46% of students are unfortunately unvaccinated. So in other words, they cannot have, or they cannot enter inside the institution. So since before, during the time that the COVID-19 is just new, and then few students have this vaccinated or vaccination card, therefore they can enter inside the school. However, those who do not have that vaccination card, therefore they really could not enter inside the school, because of that's really the protocol implemented by our government that we need to adhere. So under pandemic, so we have the electronic or non-electronic learning methods. So these are the things that we are using or utilizing in different institutions in the Philippines. We have also the work from home, skeletal workforce, senior citizen employees with comorbidities and pregnant employees were declared to work from home. So actually, all of these are being exhibited or performed by our institutions, especially here the work from home. Whenever that the government declares the level 3 of the COVID-19 poll, therefore we need to have this work from home. And then for the skeletal workforce, actually this skeletal workforce is just good for those who have the positions or the high positions in different institutions, okay? And even for us, no, if we are asked to. However, for those who have the high authority, or our dignitaries, or let's say those who are directors, presidents, vice presidents, program heads, or deans or chancellors, they really need, or they are required to be in our institutions. However, if you don't have that really, or if you're just a simple employer, or just like instructor 1, instructor 2, instructor 3, you have the privilege, like, to just stay at home to work in it. Okay, but then again, to those who have the high positions, they are really required. They're really required to work in the offices. So that's what we call the frontliners. Then here we have this, sorry, again, please go back. Okay, we have the senior citizen employees. Yes, they're required to work from home, but it depends if they're asked to go to the institutions, because there's really a need for them to fix or to prepare, or they have a really great role in that institutions, then they're really also enforced to be in the institution. Then of course 30% of the employees are in skeletal workforce, whilst the majority are working from home. Okay, thank you. Next. Yeah. Okay, so we have here the common problems encountered under the new normal, just like the abrupt shifts, the lack of preparations and readiness to implement flexible learning modalities, insufficient time, workload, or work overload, inadequate instructional resources. So for here, we have the abrupt shifts. Of course, it's really hard, right? Like the abrupt shifts, like we just implemented the K-12, and then here comes again the COVID-19. And a lot more problems, and a lot more things to adjust in our institutions. And we have also the lack of preparations. It's like the facilities that we have, as what I mentioned earlier, the equipments that we have, and even the students are also unprepared for this because of they were not informed prior to the time that the COVID-19 was broke through. Like we have also the unreadiness to implement flexible learning modalities. Yeah, we still need to adjust all of this because again, it's implemented and we need to adhere what the government's trying to pursue on this. So as in the or as being the subordinates, we need really to abide their protocol. Then we have also the insufficient time. So given that it's really there are still a lot of things to do, but then we really need to fix all of the odds or the problems that we have encountered, and we need to be flexible. Like we need to multitask, and even we need to do something that could attain all the guidelines or the protocols that the government has imposed. And then we have also the work overload. Okay, for the work overload. So for the work overload, so actually in just like in my case, I'm a teacher handling a subject, and I'm also having a designation in a research office, which is under the research ethics and journal. So I'm a head in that field. Then I also have other designations, just like Dean of ROTC sponsors and escorts, as well as in being an advisors in inter-ministry or in our ministry, in WIFAG ministry, as well as in the classroom, in a classroom, just like advisory class. No, I have. So a lot. So actually here we have a lot of overload because sometimes we mostly consume our work in administrative office, just like being a head in research ethics and journal, because we really need to adhere to our system in our institution. And of course, given that I'm also a teacher, so I need to teach from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Again, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. But then, of course, we still have a time for us to do our office, just like 2 hours a day, something like that. No, for us to do it different office works. However, it's just so hard because you're handling different students. At the same time, you're also having a lot of work in the office. Okay, so that's what we call the work overload. Okay, so that's why if you're here in the Philippines, you need to be flexible. Next, we have inadequate instructional resources. Yes, as what I mentioned earlier. Can we have another slide? Okay. So here, this is my study, and it's published, the tuition-free students profiling during COVID-19. So for the materials used for learning, so we have here, the highest is cell phone. Okay, cell phone. So this is used in a public institution in Guadapawan City. Okay, just a public institution. Okay. So next, we have also the books. Okay, they have, oh no, sorry, but the paper, then the books, then they also have the Yes, of course, the pen, paper, books. Okay, so here cell phones, it's really hard for them. Like I also encountered a student who is making her thesis, and then she's just using her phone, and her phone is just a really small phone. So it's really hard like to adopt this new normal for her, because again she doesn't have any gadgets just like laptop. Okay, we all know of how risky it is to make a research, but then most of them are just using phones, and then whenever that they have a privilege to borrow a gadget just like laptops or desktops, they may able to borrow it, but just for a limited time. Okay, we also have computers in our institutions. However, we have only um limited desktop. So that's really the problem that we're facing during the new normal. Next. So for the internet service, so it's really sad because I get this mobile data as the highest percentage among all. Okay, mobile data, because whenever that the teacher is giving instruction, then they can just use their mobile data. But whenever that they need to open a file sent to them for their modules, then they need to have their Glow, BLD, DT, Sky, SmartPro, Bientel, services, or whatever services that we have nearby them. Okay, however, again, the 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 internet service that they have is just a mobile data, majority of them. Okay, so that's really hard. But then of course in a private institution, because this is in a public institution, in the private institutions, they are having their good internet connectivity. Okay, especially in those standard institutions. But then, however, those in the far-flung area, just like um, this this target local that I have, then it's really hard because again, they're just only using the mobile data. And you know what's mobile data about, right? You can only access whenever that you want to communicate or give instructions. That's all. Then apart from that, you cannot open any files or even look at the pictures sent to you. So yes, that's why students should really spend in having internet services. Okay, next. So the problems for schools for the year 2020, oh.
Kok hilang?
Saya WA dulu, Pak. Sebentar. Tapi ini di chat centang 2. Mati laptopnya ya.
Maybe.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Are you lost connection? Beliau nggak tahu kalau hilang koneksinya.
Oh.
Sekarang lagi coba join lagi. Bentar. Belum join lagi ya Pak ya?
Belum. Ada Pak Anggit Prabowo. Halo. Kamu ngapain ke sini? Oke.
Sinyalnya sepertinya nih Pak, sebentar.
Ya,
Gimana Mbak Nafida?
ada gangguan sinyal, Pak.
Oh gitu ya.
Beliau nggak sadar kalau hilang gitu.
Oh kayak biasanya saya itu kalau presentasi.
Ngomong aja gitu padahal hilang koneksinya.
Ya, di calling aja dulu coba.
Sudah, ini lagi mau join lagi Pak. Waiting for you. Coba tak telepon lagi Pak ini. Aduh. Malah memanggil ini sebentar. Padahal centang
Saya pikir
dua.
di Filipina nggak kelempar sinyal juga, sama aja ya.
Iya, sama aja ternyata. Ini tadi katanya mau join lagi.
Oke.
Oke, Shayna May Miley. Halo, Shayna. Maybe student from Sarah. Duh, memanggil ini.
Karena mungkin tinggi nih Pak Ari di sana. No internet connection 40%.
Iya itu. Frekuensi salah. Sebentar. Hello, Shena Memali. Are you here? There's...
Shena Memali apa Mbak Nafida?
Mungkin siswanya, mahasiswanya. Or Eddie Angela, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a student from Miss Sarah?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, where's Miss Sarah? Because I'm sorry.
I
Are you
think
with Miss Sarah or not? Yes.
I'm not with.
Hello. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
For internet, which is my phone in my phone. So I'll be using my data here. So for a while now, I'll be opening it.
Gimana Mbak Nafida? Masih mau join? Atau ada gangguan?
VP-nya nggak ada sepertinya. Terus pakai internet pribadi. Terus sedang join sekarang pakai HP. Bentar ditunggu.
Mas Ardika, slide-nya masih banyak nggak?
Satu lagi.
Oh, satu lagi. Nah, kasihan kalau terlalu lama nanti kalau pakai yang pribadi.
Belum join-join lagi ya ini. Hello, ma'am. Okay. Hello.
Yes, Miss Sarah. Mute. Oh,
Stabil ini semuanya.
not here. Belum terdengar Mbak Nafida.
Hear me?
Kayaknya.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So I will just. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. I actually don't have a really good access now. Oh, here it is. So I have a good access now in my internet. So there is my. Oh, I'm really sorry. Can I just have this, my PC, because it's more accessible compared to I'll be shouting here over my phone. Just for the meantime. Okay. Stop. I'm sorry for the inconvenience again.
No problem. Di mana?
Keluar lagi ya ini ya Pak ya?
Iya, kok plus. Yuk, connect lagi. Connect, masih connect.
Okay, perhaps we're all in this last slide that we have. Perhaps, am I right, Mr. Nanang?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So here we have this low connectivity. Actually, this is the highest connectivity that we have, or the highest percentage that we have. Like, it's really hard because we're just only using the mobile phone, okay? And we're just only using mobile data. Like it's really hard to access, especially those who are in the far-flung areas. So next, we have also the lack of resources as well as lack of learning devices. So as what I've observed, like during the time that I got all of these problems that in our institutions, like we really need to address all of these concerns. Like we really need to adjust ourselves to our students. Like we need not to be strict. Like we need also to know of what are their strengths and weaknesses during this time of pandemic, because not everyone can access and not everyone has money to easily connect to the internet. Okay, so these are all the things that we so these are the problems encountered during COVID-19 or during the peak of that pandemic. Again, next. Okay, so it's done. Again, sorry for my inconvenience. Actually, it's really hard to have internet connectivity even in our house. Actually, I have my two data here, just like the smart broadband or dual broadband rather, and even my smartphone. So thank you so much for facilitating and even for your cooperation in this matter. Perhaps you may just raise your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Sarah. Very amazing presentation. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we will move to question and answer session. To the participant, please raise hand if there is something you want to ask, or you can write in the chat box. To participant, if there is a question. Okay, one question from Fitriasih Jamyung, from Korea. Korea or Klaten?
No. I'm from Sulawesi in Indonesia.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Nang, for the opportunity given to me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Miss Sarah.
Good morning.
To be honest, now I'm very nervous about asking you a question. I see you are pretty, the one on the poster, so beautiful, Miss Sarah.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, first introduce. My name is Fitriasih Reza. I'm student from Mathematics Education Department. I was going to ask a question, but this is about inclusive learning. We have read that the Philippines believe that teachers should teach inclusively. The goal is the inclusive education is concrete and occurs in the classroom. How can teachers apply inclusive learning strategies every day, and what kind of inclusive learning is taught in lectures, especially in learning during to new normal? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Fitriasih Jamyung. There is a question about inclusive learning, Miss Sarah. Yes, welcome.
Okay, thank you so much for your question, Miss Beautiful Myung. Okay, so inclusive education is what I've read it in the Department of Education. So it's about the number 72 in RA of their curriculum, that it defines inclusive education as a philosophy of accepting all children regardless of race, size, shape, color, ability, or disability, with the support from school staff, students, parents, and community. So here in the inclusive education that they have, so we have different areas of exceptionality, or let's say we have here the sorry for that. Okay. Here. So we really need, in the Philippines, we really need to adhere the purpose of IEP. So what do you mean by IEP? So it means that Individualized Education Plan. So it is a written statement of the educational program designed to meet a child's development needs. Okay, so every child who receives special education services must have an IEP. So here, the general purposes: to set reasonable learning goals for the child, then to state the services that the school shall provide the child. So here, the purpose of IEP also is to develop the child's individualized education plan. So first, we have the following information or data, just like the list of child's strengths and weaknesses. So whenever that we need to, we can know of what are their strengths and weaknesses. Therefore, we need to adopt, or we need to, we need to consider what are the things that they need to learn. Okay, next we have talk to teachers and therapists and get their thoughts about the child. Okay, then visit the child's class and perhaps other classes that may be helpful to them or her, or let's say to them or him or her rather. Then talk to children about their feelings towards schools. Then write down what they think the children can accomplish during the school year. So it helps to make notes about what are their needs, no, and meeting their the academics or the curriculum that they need to attain. So here it's also stated that in the Magna Carta, so it is a duty of the state to provide persons with disability with training in civics. So in other words, so we have the vocational efficiency, so they need to adhere it. Then even the sports and physical fitness and other skills, just like numeracy, just like in counting, or the basic subjects that we have, the English, science, math, or even language or English in the Philippines, like the mother tongue as well. Then it depends, because there are also disabilities, just like they're mute or they're deaf. No, it's really hard. That's why we really need to look first of what are their strengths and weaknesses. So perhaps in this new normal, I'm very honest that I'm not really into SPED or into special education, because it's not really my forte, because I'm in the Commission of Higher Education, which is in tertiary institution. However, this inclusive institution is just pertaining to the basic education, which is in the Department of Education. So again, people with disabilities, they adhered to they are adhered rather to enroll in special needs learning, just like in SPED. So that's how we call it in SPED. So again, it depends on their strengths and weaknesses. And during this new normal, of course, since they have their special needs, like we cannot have that fully implemented face-to-face, okay? And just like us nowadays, we're only adhering the limited face-to-face. So just a limited face-to-face and whatever the things that they need to consider. But however, in the new normal, of course, parents are really in need to guide their children. So that's also what we call the teacher aid. So they will be the ones to be a teacher aides, okay, teaching their children. Okay, that's all.
Okay, bagaimana?
Thank
Kita
you.
Jamyung are
Thank
clear.
you.
For that are very useful for all of us. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Miss Sarah.
Thank you, Miss Pretty Young.
Jamyung.
Jamyung.
Yes, Jamyung. Thank you, Mrs. Sarah and Jamyung, for question and the clear answer, I guess, from Miss Sarah. And we get the second participant, Dara Miralda. Okay, Dara Miralda, can you explain your question?
Okay. Hello, Miss Sarah and all the friends here. Thank you for the opportunity to ask me the question. And first of all, my name is Dara Miralda from the Department of Mathematics Education. And the questions are, in Indonesia, mathematics is still a different and boring subject. Does this happen in the Philippines too, Miss? Then, during this new normal, has there been any change in the student perspective on mathematics? Is it getting better or is it becoming more difficult for students because of the pandemic since 2020? Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Mbak Dara Miralda, for your question. About mathematics in Indonesia is boring and difficult mathematics subject. Ready to answer, Miss Sarah?
Yes.
Yes.
I agree with you because I'm not really fond of mathematics because I really don't know. Perhaps my multiple intelligences are not really for mathematics because I'm not logical. I'm linguist, something like that, and I can also be spatial or I can be kinesthetical. So with that question of yours, like yes, I agree with you that there is really a possibility that they will get bored on it because of in mathematics it's really logical, like we really need, there are a lot of steps that they need to consider and they need to have guidance from their teachers. However, right now in the Philippines we cannot have the face-to-face classes, like the fully implementation of face-to-face classes because of again this COVID-19 fall. So with that sorry again. There is really a changes, or there is a change when it comes to the students' perspective of mathematics. I can say it because in our students in engineering departments, they're really having hard time in terms of having calculations because again, according to them, that they need to have proper guidance with their teachers. Okay, so what the teachers are doing, they're just having a video clip on what they want to teach, then send it to them. Okay, so that's how we made it. And then even whenever that we have another instructions for our students, we need to make it sure that we can or we could send it to them prior or we could send it to them like in advance. So we should not be like putting a rush to our students when it comes to dealing in that mathematics subjects. And then of course, as what I've observed, we're also adjusting as to the capacity of our students when it comes to learning mathematics. So I guess it is all about the adjustment that we have in our institutions. So we have the different level, just like in our institutions, we have different categories, just like we have the slow, we have also the fast learners. So we really need to adjust ourselves, like whatever the activities that we need to implement or to give to them. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mrs. Sarah, for your answer. is same. Mathematics in Indonesia is boring. In Filipina is same too.
I really don't know. Perhaps because I truly agree with the Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences when he said that it's not everyone is gifted to have that, to be logical, right?
Logical.
So for me personally, I'm not really gifted when it comes to numbers, when it comes to logic. So it's really hard for me to adjust. So yes, perhaps for those who are not logical, it's really boring. However, for those who are gifted in that subject, it's really fun. No? Yeah, it depends. It depends upon the students.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sarah, for your answer for the second question. And question number 3 is from Sevina Indriani. Are you there? Sevina Indriani?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain your question from Mr. Sarah, for Mr. Sarah?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Nana. Good morning, Miss Sarah.
Good morning.
Thanks this opportunity. First of all, I want to apologize because I cannot open my camera because there is something problem with my signal.
It's okay.
Okay, my question is, according to the news that I read on CNBN Indonesia, during the pandemic, the of Education, Leonard Briones, in his official statement, revealed that the Philippines government decided not to open face-to-face schools until a vaccine for the new coronavirus that causes COVID-19 was found. Was there a COVID emergency curriculum at that time, like what happened in Indonesia? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your question, Sevina Indriani. This is question about vaccine. Ready to answer, Miss Sarah?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the very well questions, or question rather. Okay, so here, as to the COVID emergency curriculum, perhaps it's not the curriculum term in what we're implementing in our institutions here in the Philippines, but it's about the implementation. Okay, implementation, because we don't have any subjects or whatever the programs that we really need to learn about this COVID-19 in the Philippines. However, where we have a lot of protocols, just like we need to have this, or we need to be vaccinated, then we need to have a proper hygiene, and we also need to have that field health in our country. Then as to your question, that the Philippine Minister of Education, Leonor Briones' official statement revealed, okay, perhaps nowadays, it's not already Leonor Briones who is the Secretary of Education in the Department of Education. So it's already our Vice President, Sara Duterte. So we have different protocols because nowadays, according to her, that the fully implementation of face-to-face classes will be coming up this year, 2022 to 2023. And then for when it comes to limited face-to-face, we're still adhering nowadays. So there are a lot of changes. Actually, we're just adjusting, and we're just depending based on the COVID-19 in the Philippines. Whenever that it's for level 1 and 2, therefore we can have this fully implementation of face-to-face classes. However, if it's level 3, it will be a home-based learning using online learning, or let's say blended learning. So again, as to your question, there is no there is no emergency COVID emergency curriculum. Okay, no curriculum, but just implementation or protocol from our government.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very clear, I guess, Mr. Sarah, about your answer about emergency curriculum is not there in Philippines.
Yes.
Oke, selanjutnya Hanifatul Aini, raise hand. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Explain your question.
Okay. Good morning, Mrs. Sarah.
Hello, good morning. Miss Sarah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me introduce myself. My name is Hanifatul Aini, and I'm sorry I cannot open the camera because my device in trouble. I want to ask Miss Sarah about in every curriculum change that occurs in the Philippines, which one do you think is the best curriculum and should be implemented so far? Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Hanifatul Aini, about your question. Ready to answer, Mr. Sar?
Yes, sir. Sir Nanang. Okay. Thank you for that very well said question, Miss Aini. Okay. For me, like the best curriculum that we implemented so far during the change of our curriculum or nowadays that we're adhering to it is the curriculum that we have in senior high school because it's new to us. Although others may say that we need not to have this senior high school, like we need not to have all these tracks just like in academic, technical, vocational, livelihood, sports, arts, and design, because it will just accumulate another years for our learners. But then for me personally, I love to have this kind of curriculum in order for them, especially in the technical vocational livelihood, to have a great job right after they finish the senior high school. So because right after they graduated in senior high school, they will be receiving an NC2, and NC2 is the only way for them to have a great job, okay, a certificate. It's a proof or evidence that they can now work just like in agri-fishery, arts, information communication technology, or ICT, industrial arts. No, so with that and it's really good to have it, especially those who cannot afford to have college tuition fees. Okay, it's really good. It's great for me. And of course, given that Philippines is the only country, I guess there are two countries, but I forget the other one. But then Philippines is one of all the countries that doesn't have the 12-year program when it comes to basic education, like grade 12. No, we don't have. Before, we only have until grade 10. Okay, but then now we have the grade 12. Okay, which is good. Okay, so that whenever that we can compare it to the other countries, we can also have the same level or the same years that we have. No, if we're just only compared to the other countries. Okay, and perhaps that's essential for me. Yeah, that's all.
Okay,
So
thank
again,
you,
yes,
Miss Sarah. There's one again from Mr. Anggit in the chat box, Mr. Sarah. Then, Mr. Sarah, how the teaching and learning process during the pandemic conducted in Philippines? Is totally online teaching or any other method? Okay, ready to
Okay,
answer?
thank you for that very well said question. So we have here the teaching learning process. It actually in the Philippines it's really hard. Like it's not really totally online because whenever that they have the online class, they cannot perhaps support themselves because they have limited devices, just
Yeah.
like they're only using cell phones. Okay.
Okay.
Majority of them are just using cell phones, and then the only method that we can have is the blended learning, which is the combination of offline learning and online learning. So whenever that we're having the online learning, we are using the group chat or in the messenger. Okay, in the messenger, because we also have another alternative, which is the virtual learning environment. However, we were not adapted to it because it's new to us, and it's also very hard for us to adjust in that VLE, because again there are instances that it's lagging, that we are there are a lot of teachers in one classroom. So as to the alternative, we're just using the group chat. Okay, whenever that the students are submitting their papers, we need to see to it that they are submitting it in the Google Drive. Okay, for us to have one submission from our students. Then, of course, whenever that nowadays, since we have the limited face-to-face, whenever that they have their examinations, they need to go to our school. Okay, it's not limited anymore, but all of them must go to our school. However, whenever that we have our classes, just like casual classes, okay, we need to have the limited face-to-face, in which, just like as what I mentioned earlier, like for the first year, they will take it for the first and second week. First year we're gonna go to school to have classes, and then for the third and fourth week it will be for the second year again, and then another weeks, something like that. So we need to categorize our students as to when they need to go to school, because again we have limited facilities or classrooms.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you,
Okay, that's all.
Miss Sarah. About
Okay, but actually, I'm just saying here for in the public institutions. However, in the private institutions, they have a really good facilities, and I'm not really sure, but then of course, given that the Department of Education as well as the Commission on Higher Education, implemented to have this limited face-to-face, therefore we really need to adhere to our government. So perhaps yes, we're just the same when it comes to having classes, but again I'm really obscured, or it's really vague in my part to tackle about the private institutions, because in private institutions it's really different from the public institutions, because in private they have a really good facilities as well as classrooms are really good enough to have to have learning despite the pandemic. That's all.
okay, thank you, Mr. Sarah, for your answer. Is not totally online because limited device, limited facilities, and so on and so on. Okay,
Yes.
this is the last question. Inshallah, Mr. Sarah, this is the last question from Mas Raffi, Muhammad Raffi. Ready, Muhammad Raffi?
Ready. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Nanang. Mom, I will ask about learning at school. At the beginning of the pandemic and during this new normal, was there a significant difference in learning at school, ma'am? Then what curriculum in apply in the Philippines today?
Come again for your last question. What curriculum?
What curriculum is applied in the Philippines today?
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that very well said question, Mr. Rafi. Honestly,
yes.
Answer.
Yes.
Okay, am I go to answer or respond his question? Okay, thank you. Okay, honestly, there is really a great difference compared to our curriculum, compared to the learning that we have before and after, before and during the pandemic. It's really different. You know, actually, it's really hard, even as teachers, because we need to adhere the protocol set by us, and we don't have that really good devices and even connectivity, and even especially to the part of our students, because there are also students who cannot address over, or there are even students who cannot submit their papers on time because of a lot of restrictions or a lot of problems that they're encountering. You know, there are also protocols that set before us since that COVID, since that pandemic happened, just like using the VLE, in which there are also teachers who are having hard time of using online devices or online applications, just like those who are old, those who are let's say 50 the 60 beyond, no, those who are not really techno savvy, and even us, no, millennials, there are times that it's really hard for us to adapt. And then there are also times that we could not do anything but just to abide, because again, we're only subordinates. Okay, so there are really a lot of things that we need to consider, like and especially in our submission, like we need to like instead of having few like let's say few homeworks whenever that before, because before we have only few homeworks like assignments, quizzes, something like that. But then here during the new normal, we have a lot of things to answer. We have modules that we need to answer, a lot of questions, and a lot of submissions. So it's really hard. It's really hard. It's not just in the part of students. Actually, there are a lot of issues about it. Like many students are having are suicide, or they suicide because of this pandemic, because they cannot adhere to the implementation of having the online classes. Again, because they cannot learn well, because they are pressured, because they are also very stressed. Okay, so there are a lot of things. But then this time nowadays that we have already adjusted to it, perhaps there's just not really a lot of negativities, because again we have already adjusted, and we the government has also see the things that we need as faculty, no, or that they need to implement also.
Yes.
It's not just for the benefit of our students, but also for us faculty, as to our welfare.
Yes, Mrs. Tara. I guess the situation in the awal pandemic is apa jenenge is the situation is same in Indonesia. Is really hard, really stressed, and but
yes,
but we must must go on. Must go on.
Yes. Yes, that should
be. Okay. Cukup ya Mbak Nafida. I guess it's enough. It's enough.
The last question in chat book, Pak.
Okay. I'm really sorry, Miss Sarah. Your presentation is very amazing. That is very much question in this presentation.
Okay.
Okay, this is from Nico. Once again, Nico Setiawan. Dear Mr. Sarah, what are the inhibiting factors that might arise in the development of the educational curriculum and the solution to this problem? This from Nico Setiawan. Mbak Nafida, kalau mungkin belum jelas bisa membantu pertanyaan.
Okay, ma'am. Are you clear with the question, ma'am?
Yeah, yes. Is it what you the factors or the hindrances that we're facing, or in the development of education curriculum? Is that what you're trying to entail here, Mr. Nico?
Yes.
Okay, so the problems or the hindrances. Okay, the problems really. So again, so we have here the limited what are the inhibiting factors? Okay, so the inhibiting factors again are those that the students are facing, just like their limited gadgets again. So that's really the factor. And of course, when it comes to the curriculum, so perhaps we don't have that really let's say we really need to give time for our students to answer, because what happened nowadays, we're just only giving, okay, giving questions and giving requirements, giving quizzes, and then let the students submit, and then the students should submit on time. There's even scheduled, okay, they're even scheduled to submit. And then what happened, students would really had or would really have a hard time of submitting because of their limited resources, limited devices, okay, limited even money. Okay, so it's all of those are factors. So perhaps the only solution that we have is that we need also to adjust ourselves, that we need not to just give a lot of requirements to our students, because there are a lot of subjects that we have, and other students are not sleeping anymore, or just have limited time to sleep because of they're having hard time for their modules. Perhaps we need also to adjust as to how many items that we need to give to them, because again, it's not just your as one person, what I'm referring to, your subject handling or being answered by your students, but there are a lot of subjects that they're answering every day. So perhaps that's really the solution that we can make. Like, we really need to balance as to their quizzes or requirements that we need to set before them.
Yes,
So
thank you.
thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Sarah, for your answer. And once again, I to thank you for your answer and your presentation from a question from my student. Your answer is very clear, I guess. And ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end of the agenda. I would like to thank the speaker for the informative, interesting presentation, and all the participants for their very active participants. Finally, applause the speaker and all of you. Thank you. The time for Miss Nafida. Miss Nafida.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nana, who guided my event. Thanks a lot to Miss Sarah. It's a great presentation, and the material is very useful for us. And for participants, we apologize because the troubles.
Trouble grammar. Because we from
connection too.
not from language.
Several ladies and gentlemen, let's continue the next event. Before, thank you very much, Miss Sarah Figueroa-Mil. And as an appreciation from the Mathematics Education Department, we would like to present a certificate for Miss Sarah. Here is the certificate. Thank you, Miss Sarah, for the valuable speech in this event, and hope to see you again next time. All right, we will send it by email for the certificate, but we are really thankful to have you in this event. Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
thank
for
you
the
so
document.
much.
Okay, we are going to have a photo session. Okay, maybe the operator can help us to screen. Yeah, everyone is requested to be on camera. Just a few minutes, please, on camera. Hello, everyone. Please on camera just for a few minutes. Alberta, Alan Joy, Amelia Anggun, Andre, Arif Prabowo, Bella, maybe can on camera. Cahya.
Please show on the camera.
Just a few minutes.
Okay, good.
Okay, Debbie, Desindra, are you ready, the operator, to share to screen this?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, you can start it too.
Okay, on my screen there are 2 pages of participant. I inform you, so please remain still with camera open because I'll take the screenshot twice. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, Mas Dika.
Okay, on my mark. 3, 2, 1. Once more, please stand by. In 3, 2, 1. Done, and thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Ardika. Okay, the honorable ladies and gentlemen, please fill in the attendance which we have shared in the chat box. Maybe. Okay, inshallah, all participants will also receive a certificate, which we will send no later than 3 years from now on their respective emails. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the International Guest Lecture event. The committee wants to thank the speaker, Ms. Sarah. Valuable, a great speaker. It's a great presentation. Okay, we also
thank you, Ma'am Nafida. Thank you for your kindness, for your very humble approach. Like, I really like it, and even the people around here, I feel like I'm in my country because we have the same ethics. Like you're very good, you're very amazing, you're amazing people, appreciative and everything. I really like it. Actually, it's my first time, and I really like how you treat people, like how you ask something, and even the way you manage this program. Like, everything is really smooth and fine. Thank you so much. You're very friendly. I really like it.
You're welcome, Miss Sarah. Okay,
thank you.
Apa namanya?
Ma'am Nafida, excuse me.
Yes.
Perhaps I also have my students here who are from Philippines. Yeah, perhaps, I guess, because I also informed them, like, whenever that they wanted or they want to ask or to join with our presentation, then they may. So perhaps.
Eddie Angela. Eddie Angela, right, ma'am? Eddie Angela.
Yes, so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yours.
It's my privilege.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mel. Okay. We also thankful all guests and participants of this event. We hope you can enjoy this event and gain useful knowledge. And thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you,
Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you,
Sarah.
Thank you, Sir Nanang, for facilitating. Sir Ari.
Okay.
God,
I'm so sorry that if there are any misspelling. Thank you so much for the time and for your opportunity you have taken to share with us. It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Everything is a blessing, and I really love everything what you've done so far this morning. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Recording stopped.
So can I leave?
Yes, you can.
Ma'am Nafida, thank you. Sige, I will leave.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Mbak Naf.
Terima kasih teman-teman yang sudah ikut. Ya, mudah-mudahan bermanfaat. Ya, walaupun.
Untuk mata kuliah saya teori peluang masih ada di sini ya. Sekalian pengumuman.
Saya yang terakhir tadi analisis kurikulum. Nah, ini lanjut hari aja nggak apa-apa.
Saya live dulu, Pak.
Ya, live dulu.
Lanjutkan.
Oke.